They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it alive. Spend a day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We at Bronx Lane with the guys that are out here. Can I get a
yeah. Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' yeah. I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock.
Let's go, man. Peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe, man. We in Harlem today. We uptown. Big uptown energy. We on the Hustle World Tour. We out here with the public figure, recording artist. He's a father. You know, DFT, don't forget the $sign. You know how it goes.
Don't forget
Shout out to my guy G Mims. Happy birthday.
Yo, Zoe.
You know what I'm saying? So we toasting to Geminis, you know. You were June 9th.
June 9th.
I was June 11th.
Woo,
You know what I'm saying? Albums
Gemini
out.
gang.
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot to celebrate, man. How you doing, my brother?
I'm perfectly just in my light right now, my brother.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate the great introduction. And just your energy has always been like amazing. So I was excited to get a chance to come sit and talk with you. Hustle World Tour out now. A lot going on, man. A lot.
Right, beautiful. I know you went to FDA.
Yes,
You know,
I did.
Big is my brother. That's my neighbor.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We got a lot of mutual
Wow.
friends. You feel me?
Yeah, Big
C
Lion.
King and all of them.
Big Lion, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's family right there.
That's fire.
Word.
Yeah. Those is Big Lions.
You know what
I
I'm
went to
saying?
FDA right at Harlem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to go down his, I want to refresh people's minds, because, people always remember you where they met you at. So they may not know there's history, that there's music, whatever. So I want to start with I Love Money. 13 years ago. Every day you don't make it, it's a profit lost.
Every day.
The love of my life is $1, of course.
That's kind of like where like the whole don't forget the $sign mantra got like created. That's kind of crazy that you went back to that. I Love Money. That's probably like my first like record that the hood fucked with OD. Like, nah, this is fire. I'm fucking with this. It was kind of right before like the super social media era of Instagram.
Right.
That's a dope record. I actually got a chance. My pops actually got a chance to let LL hear that record. Although I never really got to hear what he thought about it. I know he got to hear it.
Right.
I recorded that with my cousin Kat. He was the first person to ever like really invest and get behind my music and recording. We would go to like New Rochelle and book like these big hour blocks.
Right.
And I Love Money is one of the first songs I recorded and shot a video to it with the fucking laptop.
Yeah.
And
I think the BlackBerry was in the video.
the BlackBerry. You could see the time. I had the BlackBerry and you know what I mean, some money, some watches and stuff. But it was a fun time. It was really when I started to kind of find a lot of fun in music and making music and stuff like that. I Love Money was a dope flip. Shout out to LL because he's a super mega legend.
Right. I saw your Funk Flex freestyle 4 years ago. I don't want to sign to Jigga. I want Jigga to sign to me.
Ooh, that was hard. That was such a fire.
And the second part I asked the pastor for some words. He said, practice your preach. Stacking the roots of evil, fear God's on my feet.
Stack the roots of all evil, fear God's on my feet.
Oh.
Yeah, those is bars.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know bars when I see bars. And it was, how'd you feel when I text you? Can you confirm these bars?
Ooh, you asked
like, I caught him.
Shit, I was hyped. I was like, oh, he's listening. He paying attention. Those bars like that, the bars that you pointed out, to me, it comes from real like experience and real like codes of conduct. You know what I mean? I asked the pastor for some words. He told me practice your preach. Stack the roots of all evil. Fear God's on my feet. That's just like about really talking to the pastor and really talking about just what motivates you. Him talking back to me about just being a human and being a man and fellowshipping as men. And we all kind of got the same motives to just be different worlds. And I like to make sure I incorporate something that hits like that. Like I'm
Right.
glad that those
Yeah.
bars kind of hit with you.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, even stacking the roots of all evil.
That's
That
second
may
winning.
fly over a lot of people's head.
It probably definitely went over mad people head.
Right.
Like I know that's one thing I think that I'm gonna say I think I got slept on Funk Flex verse. It came a little premature to my litness, you know what I
Right.
mean? But I grew up in the industry, so my quote unquote litness is subjective because
Right.
amongst that world of people and relationships, I've been out here, I've been kind of buzzing, I've been in conversations and stuff like
Right.
that. So when Flex pulled me to come do the freestyle, it was right off of I was on like a tour with Native Tongue, a little short spot
Right.
tour with Native Tongues. And I was just in a good place. And I think it get a little slept on sometime, but
Right.
I think I got a
You're
lot of
gonna have
bars
to
when you
clip that up.
when you really break down the stuff I was saying. I think
Yeah.
I said some
Oh
shit,
yeah.
some fly
You're
shit.
gonna have to clip that
Oh
up.
yeah, I gave you
Little flashback Friday or something. I mean, all right. So I found 3 tweets, and I feel like with summer coming around, people may crash out over dumb things or really not understand like there's more to life than this little moment. So the first tweet is remember your worth. What does that mean to you?
Don't forget the dollar. Remember your worth. Is sometimes we go through things where we could feel a little diminished or discouraged. And even being like me as a rapper, or like even if you're an athlete or anything that's being done in a public eye, you subject yourself to criticism.
Right.
And sometimes it's criticism that's hard to deal with. It's hard to kind of carry on with. And we got to always find ways to remember our worth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Remember what we come with. The first time we spoke, right? I
Right.
told you that melanin is worth more than gold.
Right.
Remember?
Yes, sir.
Right? So when you start to look at things like that on a basis level, you realize like your value is way more than you even thought of yourself. You know what I
Right.
mean? Oh shit, I didn't even know the color of my skin is worth millions.
Right.
Before I even put a garment on, a piece of jewelry on, I'm already worth millions.
Right.
Right? There's a bunch of information out that talks about how your social money behind your social security card, your social security number and stuff like that. We all have like this amount of money and value behind us. So let's just stop the broke mentality or the defeated mentality. We already know we worth something. We just gotta get to the information to further prove it or further use it
Right.
and apply it to our lives. And sometimes you gotta like strip yourself of the criticism, strip yourself of everybody's perception, and recognize who you are and what you're carrying. And it's very simple to just say know your worth or remember your worth, but that's something that's really an action more
Right.
so than it is a memory. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's an action. It's something you got to do to really identify.
Right. So the next one is June 1st, 2020.
June 1st, 2020.
So we in the thick of the Black Lives Matter movement, COVID, George Floyd.
Yes.
So this one says, don't kneel down now, speak up.
Whoo! That's a bar. Don't kneel down now. Speak up. Yeah, I just met George Floyd's brother like 2 days ago.
Right.
Shout out to George Floyd, his family, and just everything that positively came from that. Yeah, I think sometimes kneeling down can be like a motion of submission. And I think sometimes we rely on the subtle ways of standing up for things, and it's like, nah, it's time to say something. It's time to make things a little uncomfortable because it's the destruction of our culture is too obvious. It's too normalized. You know what I mean? Like to see a person get killed or to die or bleed out used to be like, ooh, I don't want to see that. I know guys and girls that used to not like to watch scary movies because they didn't like the blood and gore. Now that shit is, we watch fights on the gram. We watch people bleed out. We watch If I'm not mistaken, we seen Nipsey. They had videos of Nipsey dead,
Right.
Floyd's situation. Like this shit is so normalized to view and watch now that it's like we're losing strength in how we stand for things. It's kind of just easy to get over and get to the next day.
Right.
And I don't think that quote unquote kneeling is always the answer. Sometimes you gotta stand up, speak
Right.
up,
Right.
take what comes with the consequences. That's
Right.
what being a martyr, and that's what the people that we idolize from the Martin Luther Kings or Malcolm X, like these people stood up and they stood for something and accepted the fact that there was going to be consequences. I think I want to know how many times Martin Luther King got arrested and Malcolm X been in jail.
Right.
You feel me? Because I'm sure it was several times, from protesting
Right.
to standing for something that they believed in. And I think we got to continue to do that. We can't fall a victim to fear. You feel me?
Right.
They said that I just saw a video. That said that the most consistent phrase in the Bible, you know what it is? If you had to guess,
If I had to guess, thank you, Lord.
it's "Don't be afraid."
Mm.
That is one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent phrase throughout the Bible. Don't be afraid.
Right.
And we're getting kind of conditioned to fear.
Right.
And normalized to like the failures of death. Like, not somebody just living a great life and passing. It's always just tragic.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I could see how it can train minds over
Right.
a course of time. So speak up, stand up. Don't just take that shit. I know
Right.
sometimes we go home and we hold things that we wish we should have said, should have did. As long as you find a decent way to stand up and speak up, do it.
Right.
Live your light.
That's powerful too, because one of my bros just hit me before here, and he said that, he got word that his teacher was targeting his son in school, and he had grounded his son and punished him earlier this year. But he's like, damn, like I wish the school had. Like, I feel bad because I took off on him, not really knowing the facts, and then school's about to be over, and he just telling me this. So what you just said is what I told him.
Yeah.
I said, bro, you gotta go ahead and sit down with that man or woman and figure out what the root of that is.
Right.
And I think it'll be fly if you also apologize to your son. Let him know, like, yo, my fault. Like,
Correct.
you know what I mean? Because innocently, we trust these teachers, these people. That's your job. Y'all here to educate. And I'm kind of seeing what you say. Your word is law, kind of. But it's scary to know, like, damn, like y'all could twist words, and withhold the truth.
Right.
And I'm in the dark until you tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want him to find the best possible way to represent himself and his son.
Right.
And get to the root of that.
I fuck with that. I told my daughters, I have two daughters. I have a 11-year-old and an 8-year-old now, Journey and Riley. Journey's a Gemini like us. She a part of the gang.
Fire.
But I told both her and Riley, like, and you like you and use this message responsibly. You know what I mean? I tell my kids, your school can't tell you in trouble. Only me and your mother can tell you in trouble.
Right.
Like, let me figure out everything that's happened, and then I could tell you, like, you could be in detention, you could be in all of that, but I'm gonna let you know if you really in trouble, if what you did was really against the principles I'm trying to raise you on.
Right.
Sometimes the schools have a job. And when our children are in the school where they're theoretically under their law and under their rule until they let us out. Now, shit, ever since COVID, I was going to the school and couldn't get in the building up until like last year, you know what I mean? They had rights to keep our kids in the building and we had to wait outside. So clearly, us as parents don't even have a questionable say, a conflicting say when our kids are in school.
Right.
And we have to rely on the school systems that we put our children under and the people that are running those systems to take care of our kids. And sometimes it's 30, 20, 30 kids in a class, and it's hard. So even a teacher's version of what may have happened might not be completely accurate.
Right.
Kids don't always tell the truth, but I think as parents, we got to take our time on how we continue the punishment from school onto our homes. You know what I mean? Certain things should just be treated differently, separately. There's a behavioral conversation, and then there's a survival conversation, because I might feel like my kid needed to defend herself,
Right.
although it's against school morale or code of conduct. I might have felt like my daughter should have called out whatever she called out, or if her answer was right, or whatever the case may. I might have felt like, I ain't mad at you for being brave.
Right.
Because guess what? I know what it's like to be in the class and be nervous.
Right.
And not raise my hand.
Right.
And not be prideful or be brave about the answer that I had. So I kind of encourage my kids to continue to be themselves. Like, the only thing I don't like about school is how it shaves the unique identifiers off of our kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're all unique in a way.
Yes, yeah.
But lining them up, making them kind of do the same thing and follow the same expectations under the same standard, under the same rubric. They don't think and learn like that. They all think and learn differently.
Yes, they
It's
do.
hard to judge that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't be fully like subscribed to everything that happens in school. You know what I mean? But I do believe in education. I do want my kids to know that if you didn't choose school to to find a career path, still know how to seek the education that you need to survive in this world and to grow in this world. That's really what it's all about. I feel like if you got the discipline, the self-discipline to educate yourself, once you kind of finish the standard requirements of school, you can I want you to follow your dreams. You know what I mean? I want you to follow your passion. I want you to live your life in that light. So school behavior has been like a big topic with me and my kids' mothers, because it doesn't always align with how I want them to learn and apply survival skills. But I do want them to be successful in school and understand that if you're in a working environment, that's what you signed up for.
Right.
And school is still a working environment.
Yes, it is.
And there's responsibilities with that. So I fuck with that, though.
Right. Let's rip the Band-Aid off on this one, though.
Yeah.
America loves black culture, not black people.
Ooh, I said that?
2019. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, America loves black culture, not black people.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth? Man, those is balls. I was supposed to put that in a rhyme. 2019, I wonder what happened during that time. That was probably before the pandemic. Oh, I said pandemic. That was before the pandemic. Yeah. It feels like that sometimes.
It definitely
You know what I
does.
mean? It feels like it's very easy to incorporate the cultures of my and our communities and our creations. It's cool to incorporate it. It's cool to showcase it, but it's not cool to showcase the people that it derives from and protect us in the same way.
Right.
I think because we've shown so much resilience, which we need to continue to do, it's easy to kind of have that will be I attitude. Let's just preserve the culture because we could use it.
Right.
Like many other cultures. It's also very consistent with the evolutions of time. Culture gets kind of remixed, reused, and it feels like something new once you're generations away from the last time it was around.
Right.
And it's like very often I'm what you would call a black man. I'm also kind of getting off the black white kind of term. I told myself that this is dangerous, but I'm gonna say this though. I think although we as a black culture, like how we flip the word nigga into nigga and we kind of give life to it, I feel like black is just as bad as a setup as nigga. You feel me? I think it's just as much as a distraction from who we really are as the word nigga. It's just a safer word to use, and we created a sense of pride behind it. But everybody's really just different shades of brown. Right? That's just the truth, right? Everybody's really a shade of brown. If I put a white sheet of paper next to a Caucasian, they still wouldn't match complexion. Just as much as if I put a black sheet of paper next to the darkest man. I mean, maybe it's dark. We get dark, but I mean, it's not gonna be the same complexion. So the whole black white thing is really just a distraction. We all kind of fooled into this concept of blackness or whiteness. It's really a distraction from who we really are and finding out where we really come from. So I'm kind of want to get to a space where we kind of like find a new word or just understand that fuck all that black, white shit. Like, no, we really all just different shades of brown. And no, we're not really going to come to that point tomorrow. But that's just the truth. You feel me? So, under the concept of being a black man, it's just been so tough. Like, you feel me? Like, from a very shallow standpoint in New York, I can't catch a cab. I can't get a yellow cab to come help me. I can't get, you call the police in certain communities, it'll take forever to come. You know what I mean? Unless they know they arresting some black people. You feel me? And I just think I just think there should just be a little more intention to treasure the people that a lot of this stuff was built on a little bit more. And we got to find ways to treasure ourselves more, you know what I mean? And further know what we want to stand for our children and the futures behind us. Because somebody's going to be speaking about this life and time. Somebody's going to be looking back, analyzing how we were surviving. And I don't want them to say we were a bunch of fools caught up in a facade. I don't want us to be the generation of just straight out, flat out facade. Like nothing substantial, nothing worth passing on to the next generations. You know what I mean? So it sucks, but it just feels like that a lot. It feels like that. Maybe it's not all around the world, but where I come from, it feels like people love the culture, but don't like the people. You feel me?
I felt that.
Use the culture all the time to entertain yourself, to motivate yourself, to inspire yourself, to follow just with your own own spirit, but you don't really like the people that it comes from.
And that's how I felt with the whole All Lives Matter movement. You know what I mean? We know all lives matter.
Absolutely.
You can't say all lives matter to rebut Black Lives Matter.
It was a
That's
rebuttal.
not cool.
And
That was
that's
a
why
rebuttal.
that's why it wasn't cool, because it was a rebuttal.
Right.
And it just was misrepresented wrong.
Right.
You feel me? At the end of the day, many groups got a lot of protection by the media during that standpoint, and we still didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Black Lives Matter was cool, but even that got diminished because it looked like sort of like a
Funny money,
scam, like, you feel me? So
yeah.
even that got diminished and piped down. You know what I mean? So where's the true support other than just us saying we get over the past? Like, it's just like kind of just always feels like we gotta just get over it.
Yeah, we have to do the work. It's almost like trauma from your parents, and you're never gonna get a sorry.
Yeah.
And you got to do the healing.
But can we expect, like, do we really expect for it to be over by now? Like, I mean, we were in 2024. My mom's was born in 63. So she was technically born unequal.
Right.
So that's still like, we still in a lifetime. We not really that far removed from it. When you think about it, like, you feel me? And think about it, if my grandmom's is alive, so there's still people older than my mom's that really know what it was like to really deal with open racism and open unlawful, without impunity and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we still have people alive from that era that's terrified from those times or traumatized, and we still have superiors from that time.
Right. And those people are our politicians.
Exactly. In
people
positions,
in power,
and they're not
and the
trying to
powers
let
that
go.
be.
They're not gonna let go. And it's like, I don't considering their position, I don't blame them for not wanting to let go of their spot, they position of power. They're gonna continue whatever reign they're intending to continue while they still can.
Right.
But at some point, you know, not in a bad way. They're gonna die out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
They're
I
gonna
mean
die out, and then
that's
and
the
it'll
law.
it'll it'll continue. It'll begin to change.
Right.
But yeah, we still in that time. Like, you feel me? Like, if it wasn't for tragedy, people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X would still be alive.
Right.
They still be here right now.
True.
Older, elder, but they'd still be around.
Right.
Maybe, you feel me? If given they health is correct, there's still a lot of figures that we idolize and champion that would, if it wasn't for tragedy, would still be here.
Right.
And things would probably definitely be a lot different.
Right. I heard you. So NBA finals are on. No, but I hear you used to have hoop dreams.
Yeah. So I used to have hoop dreams like a motherfucker, but
Right.
basketball helped me find my reality though.
Right.
Right. I was dreaming about basketball, but I made like rap and music a reality, and a lot of those principles came from basketball.
Right.
I started playing ball at like under a whistle at like 10. I think my first tournament was in Earl Manning Goat Park. My mom's put me in like a Saturday tournament, and I didn't make my uncle's team. And that used to kind of fuel me to kind of want to get better, because my
Right.
uncle had always had a team. He was real, like, he got big bravado. He was always like a big personality, especially when he know he's winning.
Right.
And this particular time, I got on a team with my man Jamani. Crazy thing is, Jamani is he's a small person.
Right.
He's like super web celebrity for playing ball. So y'all could look him up. His name is Monty Love.
Right.
He's a super big, as although he's small, he's one of the biggest inspirations that I've ever seen, coming from where we come from.
Right.
One of the biggest success stories that I could even think about from a child on. But I ended up playing with him. We played on the same team and with Courtney, and we won a championship. My first tournament I ever played in, I won a championship.
Right.
Ended up playing in like the Tournament of Champions, meeting some Knick players. So my first like basketball experience was like super cool.
Right.
And then from then on, I fell in love. Like, once I learned how to like get better,
Right.
play around with the right kind of competition, it was cool. I went from there. I started playing for like Douglas. Then I started playing for like Riverside. Then I went to FDA. My junior high school ain't have a basketball team, so I had to play on like AAU teams. I had to play on a lot of just side teams. So I played like Hudson Guild, Booker T. I played fucking Douglas until I went to high school, and I started playing for Patrick Megan at FDA. And funny thing is, I just met the coach from Cardoza. He been there for a while. He rap and all that. He's mad cool. I met him yesterday, and we talked a little bit about basketball. So yeah, I've always used basketball just to get me through school. When I was at FDA, man, it was like real competitive, both as a student and as an athlete. We couldn't play unless we had 80 averages. You had to get 1,000 on the SAT if you was a senior.
Right.
We had to get weekly report cards, and the report cards had to reflect over an 80 average, or you could not play. You couldn't practice. You had to go to study hall. You had to report the practice, but you was not playing. And Megan really motivated us to find ourselves as grown teenagers.
Right.
And we had like 9 seniors. All of us had some money, some sort of money to go towards college, some sort of scholarship money, if not full scholarships, through either athletically or academically. We was undefeated in the city. We was undefeated for 2 years in the city. We lost in the playoffs of both of our times being undefeated in the city. But I don't even know what it's like to lose to a public school in Manhattan.
Right.
When I was playing high school basketball, we never lost.
Right.
We never lost, no cap. That's crazy now that I'm thinking about. From my junior, senior year in FDA, we never lost a public school Manhattan game or even a home game when I was there. That's just, I don't even know.
Right.
I walked on to St. Bonaventure. I was going to do a post-grad year. I ended up just wanting to take my talents to college and try to see what I could really do.
Right.
I went to St. Bonaventure University. I walked on, fucked that up, fucked that all up. Had a girlfriend from off from another school. She got into a fight. It fucked my whole shit up, man. My whole rap on. And yo, man, listen, kids. Focus on your goals, man. The women are gonna come. And I got nothing but love for that girl that fucked my shit up. But focus on yourself, bro. All that stuff is gonna come, bro. Like, don't gamble your future with your present temporary situations. Like, it's not worth it. It's truly not. You know what I mean? So, but at Bonaventures, when I found out I could record music and it makes sense. The first song I did was like called "Come With Me." It was featuring an R&B singer. He challenged me. It was a girl there, and she challenged him to write a singing song about a girl better than I could write a rapping song about a girl. And then we ended up combining it and made it a song, performed it on the college and at a fashion show. And then I think that's probably on YouTube somewhere too, maybe. But after that, it was over. I was like, oh, I got another answer to basketball. I actually went to Liberty. I went to try out at Liberty University, but it's a real like religious college, real religious. I had a good day with them, but it was definitely better players. You feel me? I learned a lot about the whole D1 circuit. It's really some really dope players, really amazing players. I went to school with when I was in school, you ever heard of Lethal Shooter?
Yeah.
Chris Matthews. Yeah. He was at Bonaventure.
Oh, fire.
Tyler Ralph was at St. Bonaventure. Shout out my man AJ Hawkins, Zarion Ferretti, Ahmad Smith. These is like Bonaventure people. When they hear this, or if they hear this, they're gonna know. Lethal Shooter definitely went to Bonaventure. That was like sort of my tail end of the year when I was going through all of the turmoil with having a little conflict on the campus. But yeah, that's really kind of what set things off for me at basketball. I think I came back to the city and I played at City College for like a semester. And then it was all music for me. But basketball, I got all my principles from basketball, all of my discipline, dedication, and determination, all of that shit I got from basketball, man. That meant the world. But I could play, so y'all rappers y'all try to play if you want. I could ball for real. So a lot of people be balling now because it's cool. I'm a basketball player. Like, I can play ball. Like, you feel me? So, yeah, I mean, that's that. That's here. You heard? That's here.
Yeah, man. So, what does Harlem mean to you?
Harlem means, man, Harlem is culture to me, though. You feel me? Like, Harlem is everything about the Black culture. We talk about everything about even the hip hop culture. You know what I mean? Yes, hip hop started in the Bronx. But you gotta understand, the Bronx is right next to Harlem. That's all uptown. So it quickly matriculated. You know what I mean? Like, I once had I was a hip hop teacher before I kind of started to take off as a rapper. I was rapping definitely, like, I Love Money and shit was out. But I was a hip hop specialist for Harlem Children's Zone. And I did some cool shit. Took them like the DJ Scratch Academy, had Fade from Shirt King. Shout out to Shirt King Fade. Showed them how he used to make his the first like independent fashion products from like him, like a Dapper Dan type of thing. Shout out to Dap. That's my man too, name Dap from Harlem. And in my hip hop class, I used to have to teach them about the history of hip hop and a lot about in 1973, 1974. That was also kind of like the same year of the establishment of the Cross Bronx Expressway. You feel me? So that's also like the same year they took out the mandate of teaching instruments in schools. So thus when you have, it makes sense how hip hop is transformed because it's a form of music where you can take all the instruments from me. You could take the music notebooks away and I could still find a way to make music, right? I could beatbox, I could pat on this motherfucking couch, and I could rap. And there we have hip hop. That very quickly matriculated down to hip hop, to Harlem. You know what I mean? So you think of Mace's, you think of the term Harlem World, and you probably think of Mace album. But Harlem World was really a hip hop club.
Right.
On 116th and Lenox. Now it's like Conway, Fellas, or it's closed now, but it's Harlem World was an actual place before Mace coined it on his album.
Right.
And that was a hip hop club. And that's where you get like DJ Hollywood. I think my pops talks to me about like how there was like this famous battle. I don't want to mess up the two names, so I don't even want to quote them, but it was like one of these famous big rap battles happened in Harlem World, in the club right on 116th, between 116th and 117th in Lenox. So Harlem has always had like super culture, battle rap, smack DVDs, like one of the most iconic battle raps with Jay Mills and Murder Mookas on 125th Street.
Right.
Rucker Park, some of the most amazing games from being a kid or hearing about from my pops talk about Julius Erving coming there, to being a kid and remembering the day. I wasn't there, but I remember the day Kobe Bryant came to the Rucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember when the NBA TV was at Rucker.
Right.
Kingdom. I remember watching OJ Mayo and Corey Fisher playing ball at Kingdom. I remember watching Ali Mo. You know what I mean? I got to watch these people. I got to see a lot of things happen in Harlem that built me to who I am today. You know what I mean? Fortunately, I got to see things outside of Harlem as well. But the art, the artistic values, the artistic expression of Black culture oozes through Harlem all my life. You know what I mean? The movies we watch, New Jack City, American Gangster, Paid in Full. Well, Paid in Full was shot in some places outside of Harlem, but it resonated about Harlem. Juice. All that stuff comes from like a real Harlem style. So it always gave me lifestyle. It always gave me a pride. It's just something about Harlem that's gonna always mean the world to me. Making sure they fuck with me means the world.
I respect you claiming the Upper West Side. I seen that in the Funk Flex interview.
Upper West Side.
And I said most people say what makes others feel comfortable. But it's like me, I never say I'm from the Bronx. I say I'm from the South Bronx.
Right.
Feel me? So like, I don't want you to think like I could be from Pelham or Allison or some shit like that. No disrespect to them, but I'm from the South Bronx, Brook Ave. I'm gonna tell you that. So I love that you stood on what you stood on, and you weren't like, well, I'm gonna just say Harlem, just because that makes you comfortable.
Because truly, I'm on the borderline. So what Bobby Womack said, across 110th Street. I live on 110th Street. So I don't live on 110th Street no more, but I'm from 110th Street. For my building, the block was always 109th Street. And for my time growing up, that wasn't considered Harlem. And the old maps, Harlem goes down to 96th Street or something like that. On the east side, it go a little further down. On the west side, it don't. It becomes like metropolitan area. Columbia got a lot of the west side down, 110th area. And then Harlem kind of like now, once you go uptown, it kind of spreads back over to the west side, and it covers like Spanish Harlem and on the west side and on the east sides. So for me, I was always the person from my neighborhood which kind of claimed like Upper West Side that had a lifestyle more in Harlem. I was the Harlem version of my neighborhood. I went to school in Harlem. Most of my family is originally, my grandparents, all of them, came from like 112, 111, 115, stuff like that. Like my grandparents is from those areas anyway. So I was one of the family members who really kind of still was a Harlem kid, you know what I mean? But just my apartment and my building I lived on 110th, honestly. Just the block for my building was 109th. That's the Yowza block. Shout out to the Yowzas. And we just kind of, Upper West Side was how we identified with being from 109th down to, I think even my Douglas projects, they like 104th in Columbus and stuff like that. They claim Upper West Side, like everything that's kind of like 96 and up on the west side of Central Park claims Upper West Side until you get to 110th. And it's honestly a difference though. Like once you get to 110th, you in Harlem, bro. You're gonna see, you still see remnants of New Jack City and American Gangster. You're gonna see that. It's not crazy, but you walk the park side of 110th, you gonna see the fiends. You gonna
Right,
see
right.
the hustle. You gonna see people mind their business.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gonna
Yeah.
see people living their life. It's fucking sky-rise buildings, penthouse floors, ceiling to floor window apartments, and then there's old pre-war apartments.
Right.
There's townhouses. There's all kinds of fields in Harlem. You
Right.
get it all kind of mixed in one, and it's really a small place.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
But it
it's
seems so large to the world.
because it's just that's how much we got to give.
Right.
That's how much expression is. That's why it seems like Harlem people be cocky. It's just you gotta be there to understand. Like a nice,
Right.
like right now, summer days right now when it's warm is the best time to just go in Harlem and take a walk.
Right.
Down the right blocks.
Right,
7th
right, right.
Ave, stay on Lenox.
Right.
Don't be creeping through avenues, but you go down it, not I mean through streets, but you go down the Aves and just look at the culture. 8th Avenue. Harlem is beautiful. 5th Avenue is
Right.
beautiful from uptown to Harlem all the way down to downtown,
Right,
to the
right, right.
Met Museum and all
Right.
that stuff. It's like these spaces are beautiful still. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? The East Side is still beautiful to those who aren't from there. They're like, yo, what? Y'all outside? Y'all having cookouts? Y'all playing music still? Y'all
Right,
got
right.
the grill. It's 12 o'clock at night.
Right.
Bottles on the floor and y'all just having fun. It feel
Calm.
dangerous, but once you get comfortable, you're like,
Right.
oh, this is cool.
It's
Y'all roll
calm.
dice. Y'all curse out the police. Y'all, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
they keep it pushing and you know what I mean? Like, what? This is a vibe.
Because
You know what
even
I
they
mean?
understand we just vibing.
We just vibing.
That's it.
You just
know?
vibing. You might see somebody sell some bud. You might see somebody do they hustles, but honestly, and people are cooking. There's all kinds of hustles. Also, the home of the hustle. You know what I
Right.
mean? You got Little Africa. You got Spanish Harlem, the Chinese stores. You got the corner stores is mostly dominated by like Spanish and Arabic.
Right.
There's so many different cultures getting to it. You know what I mean? So it's really just a melting pot for community.
Right.
And as one, if we looked at it not as broken down Harlem, we still look at it like uptown, downtown Harlem, west side, east side.
Right.
But we really small. Like if we looked at it as one unit and kind of stayed together,
Right.
it's nothing we can't shake up. Everybody could be kind of successful at whatever they want because the world really follows us.
Right.
But I think we're the one small area that has to do a better job at uniting, even though we're very much united within our own space.
Right.
But we're so competitive. Like, you
Right.
feel me? There's no. There are, but there aren't. There are multiple kings of Harlem.
Right.
Like there ain't no real king of Harlem. There's
Right.
kings in
Right.
Harlem. You feel me? Harlem is,
And there's the Queen of Harlem.
and there's a queen of Harlem, and she's like a motherfucking, and she's
Right.
clearly there's a king somewhere far. You
Right,
feel me?
right,
So
right.
somewhere close. So yeah, shout out to Queen Michelle.
Yeah. So the Hustle World Tour. We're gonna get through this. Cold
Yeah.
sweats. Had to blossom as a father. Close the distance with my seed. Seen a nigga break his branches. Now he missing on his leaves.
I could barely feel my face. I could still taste the weed. Know the blessing in my vision. I can't risk it if I leave. I said, yeah. I said I had to close the distance with, yeah. Say that again? Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I had to blossom as a father.
I had to blossom as a father.
Close the distance with my seed.
Seen a nigga break his branches.
Now he missing on
Now
his
he missing
leaves.
on these leaves. I was going through a real kind of tough time with my oldest daughter. And, you know, my oldest daughter, that's my first. She's always going to be the most unique, special soul that I ever brought to this world.
Right.
And I felt like we was kind of growing apart a little bit.
Right.
And, you know, you learn as parents, sometimes you get even be stubborn as parents. And I felt like, nah, it's going to be my way or the highway.
Right.
And I realized my way was kind of creating a space between her, a discomfort between her and I that I didn't like.
Right.
And, you know, had to blossom as a father, close the distance with my seed.
Right.
I've seen too many times where we have burnt our bridge and broke our branches by being stubborn as parents.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've watched fathers make poor decisions, mothers make poor decisions,
Right.
being stubborn or trying to do things the way that their parents did to them, and it's kind of might not be as necessary.
Right.
And in that action, all the way break off a relationship
Right.
or on an authority to influence and motivate their kid.
Right.
or just someone that they love or care about. So I just don't want that for myself. You know what I mean? Seen a nigga break his branches, now he missing all his leaves. So it's like there's no blossom in that. You don't. Where's the leaves gonna come from if you don't got the most trees have branch out and then the leaves grow. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like a leaf or two that grow off on a tree, but really it's off a branch. Trees don't really. The trunk don't really got leaves. You feel me? So we just a tree trunk without the branches. You know what I mean? You need the growth. So I just didn't want to be that scenario as a parent. I want to make sure that I'm continuing to grow as a parent, and being there for my daughter and growing with my daughter is a necessity if I want to keep that connection tight.
Right. That's powerful.
Thank you.
Love me to life.
Mm-hmm.
This type of grind gonna break some bonds that I anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
You know the game, a give and take, with dinner serving as your dinner plate. They ain't your hunger. That ain't your hunger. We just can't relate.
Just can't relate. Yeah. So right. Every blessing ain't for everybody to be around for, bro.
Right.
And that's just a tough reality that we have to accept sometime, even when we envision, I want all the guys to make it.
Right.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna put my whole hood on. And then you can, and you are my brother, but not in the way that you might see it panning out. I need you to come in here first and certify yourself, and then bring the next person and teach them how you certified yourself, and they'll certify themselves, and then they could bring in the next two people, and we could create this thing that now funnels in people in a timely fashion.
Right.
And everybody can't live with that.
Right.
So it's bonds that I know I'm going to break, you know what I mean? I know it's bonds that's going to break, you know what I mean? I anticipate it happening. I don't always know who, but sometimes I know it's going to happen if I have to stay committed to this mission that I'm on, that we on. Not everybody going to want to work as hard. Not everybody going to want to stay up. Not everybody going to want to sacrifice their bread. Not everybody going to want to sacrifice their relationships.
Right.
I got women that I used to really care about, really know that they was positive for my life and good for my life, but it's still conflicted with what I'm doing with my goals.
Right.
In order for me to give you everything that you can give me, I gotta sacrifice this thing right here that's gonna have us good for forever.
Right.
Now I gotta finish this because I can't even balance. I can't jeopardize this right now.
Right.
I can't fluctuate back and forth. This don't reward anyone that fluctuates back and forth. So, you know what I mean? You at the dinner table, you gotta eat, bro.
Right.
You gotta eat. There's people outside starving for this meal what you got on your plate.
Right.
You're not gonna eat because your girlfriend mad?
Right.
For a day or for a week or for a month.
Right. Life goes on.
Nigga, you cheating anyway. You got like 3 girls, bro.
Right.
Bro, go eat that food, bro.
Right.
Worry about that later, bro. If she fuck with you or if he fuck with you, they gonna be there. They understand that you gotta eat right now.
Right.
Cause if you don't eat, how you gonna show me what my plate's supposed to look like?
Right.
I need the recipe. Go eat.
Right. Don't judge me. Broke nights just to break bread. Broke rules just to break free.
Broke legs. But the blessing, I ain't 6 feet. That you could judge a book by its cover. My story get deep. Wasn't entitled, still a title I want. Son of a legend, try and make my pops the father of one. The prodigal son. I speak with gods and dabble with guns. For them I fire on the hater like the top of my blunt. Yeah, I like that. I remember that. I had tore my Achilles. I had tore my Achilles a couple years, maybe like 2 years ago.
Right.
And I was fighting with feeling like I was stagnant, like I couldn't do nothing, like I couldn't get things done. And me rapping is what kept me kind of like motivated. I kept rapping my triumph through the despair of my leg being messed up, and I was missing. I think I was like just on Drink Champs. I was just did a couple dope podcasts. I had to do the latter end of my podcast run, just interview run with crutches. I was in pain.
Right.
And I think a lot of times like I said, I was on Drink Champs and a lot of shit. And a lot of times people think everything comes to me from entitlement. And that's because Red is your pops and shit like that.
Right.
And that's why I was like, wasn't entitled, still a title I want. Son of a legend, try and make my pops the father of one. I want to make my pops the father of a legend.
Right.
You feel me? Like, he's a super motivator in my life. But I'm motivated by the example he sets for himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the biggest key he's ever given me, by letting me see the process.
Right.
And I also like to make sure that I don't get too caught into the new school, old school. I try to make sure I always pay homage. I'm always going to pay homage to those who came before and allowed us to have a platform. So even with a broken leg, I'm breaking the pavement and trying to make sure I let those behind me know that
Right.
I'm carrying a torch for y'all too, and for the people in front of me and the youth, you know. So
don't serve it. My conscience working on me, the devil's cursing on me, and karma's lurking on me. These hoes ain't working for me.
No, they ain't.
I need some blessings on me.
Yeah. How you going? You gotta ask God. You gotta tell God what you're going through.
Right.
Feel me? Answer the bell for you. You know what I mean? And it often feels like sometimes you kind of dodging the problem. You know what I mean? I hate with that part in life where you feel like you just dodging the conflict. And it's like, all right, Lord, I need help. I'm about to stand here and face all of it. This is what's going on.
Right.
You feel me? Karma's lurking on me. These hoes ain't working for me. You know what I mean? I need blessings on me. You feel me? Because this is starting to get a little dark over here.
Right.
That song came off a little more humoristic, but I meant it, because in this industry, like, like I started that song off. I get it now. Niggas just want to be famous.
Right.
Niggas say they loyal, they change, but I adapt to changes.
Right.
Right. And I would never be able to adapt to any of these changes without having God in my life to some degree.
Right.
I mean, I'm not religious, but I'm super spiritual.
Right.
And I know there's a presence of God within us and around us.
Right.
So you got to be honest with God.
Yes, you do.
You got to be honest with yourself. If you're going to be honest to anybody, be honest to God in yourself, or the God within yourself, however you look at it. And that's what that's about for me. I kind of get that inspiration from just listening to like DMX back in the day. He always had like some kind of God conscious record. I mean, most of my music, I'm very conscious of God, you know what I mean, of the spirit around me. So yeah, man, we be going through it. I mean, that's the player's call. Sometimes it's like the player's prayer.
Right.
You feel me? That's how I felt like it. I try to make sure the whole don't get the dollar, the hustle world tour, although it's about the hustle. I try to keep it player, try to drop jewels on keeping it player, keeping it. And what I mean by keeping it player is just being true to yourself as a man, being true to yourself as a component in whatever game you win,
right,
and whatever hustle you win. And yeah, that's what it was for me. Those are some dope bars that you pulled up.
right.
Yeah,
Thank
man, I try to stay in the moment. I used to think a lot and hard about, what's a good line? What's a good line? And I started just talking, bro.
Right.
And saying how I feel, and then my best metaphors came out. Come with me just being myself and my unauthentic expression.
Right.
So that means the world to me. That's some dope shit you did.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Last two questions, man. So I asked you this question when we were at a, Vampire Life event. Shout out to Vampire Life. Definitely shout out to my brother Dice Peso.
Shout out to
Jim
Dice,
Jones,
Big Bird Gang. Shout out
OG
to
Capo and
Capo.
everybody.
Shout out to the gang. Shout out to King. Shout out to
my brother King Streets. We had a great interview, man.
Shout out to Drama.
You know
shout out to Hustle. Shout out to everybody that's Vamp Life, man.
Right,
shout out to the gang, man. Shout out to Dilla Illa. He was on that Cold Sweats record.
Right.
Shout out to Joel Ortiz. He not Vamp Life, but he was on the project.
Trinidad he was on the second record.
Jay Wan was on the project.
East.
That's Jada Kissa. And Dave East was on the project. My man Reels was on the project.
Dice was on the project.
Dice was on the project with me and Capo. And yeah, man, I love the gang, man. We got this thing. I love being Vamp Life.
Right.
And man, Jim exposed us to a really dope platform of his. And I'm a part of a family.
Right.
You feel me? I'm a part of a family now. I used to sit with my friends and talk about trying to be Dipset as a kid all the time. Like what? We all was fake. I was Cam. My man Pachado was Jim Jones. My cousin was Freaky. You know what I mean? Like that was like fun for us. So to grow up and have get that phone call from Capo that I'm on his radar and that he wouldn't extend his platform to me has definitely changed the trajectory of my career and the exposure of my career. You know, it's super competitive, but it's also a lot of love and support. It's it's an accelerated course to the big leagues. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to be here and be a part of it. I'm glad to be where I'm at and have the support of Jim. You know, he from Harlem, belittled. I'm from where he grew up at as a teenager in Harlem. I live there now too as well. So we from similar territory. So I learned a lot from him. We talk a lot about we were just talking about Jim Ice. He had said on the song Angels, he had mentioned Jim Ice, and I just was on Lennox in front of one of the restaurants we go to over there. And he was talking to one of the older guys about Jim Ice.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Last 2 questions, man. Okay. Message to your younger self.
Take that shot. Fuck that shit. Don't pass, shoot. Don't pass, shoot. So what would the coach say? Play the game right. Trust yourself. Shoot the ball, nigga. Shoot your shot.
And you know, I usually say message to the youth, but summer's here. And this is gonna drop in about a week or 2. School's about to be out. So what is just some tips and advice, a little bit of game, a few gems on how to have a safe summer?
In Harlem?
And we from
in
the
general,
town.
And
so
from the towns,
general,
period?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
it's for every hood across America.
For every hood across America, man, make sure you communicate with the people that you care about.
Yes.
You feel me? Try to make sure somebody you trust know your whereabouts. Enjoy yourself and always make sure that you put your safety first. But enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? You don't know. We never know how much time we have on this world. It's summertime. Get some sunlight. I don't want to encourage people to stay inside, especially if you black and of melanin. Go get that sunlight. Enjoy your people. But take care of each other. If you a young lad, if you a young boy, y'all go out as groups. Make sure y'all all get home safe. You feel me? Whoever y'all go outside with, make sure y'all come home with each other. You know, at the same time, ladies too. Let's continue to up the respect and just, you know, you got to stay safe and stay dangerous, but at the same time, stay together. And if we all work on staying together, everybody's going to be safe. We're not really going to have no problems because everybody's working on prioritizing each other's safety. But still, just have fun, man. Enjoy this time out. Don't get too caught on your phone and on the internet. I know it's 2K is lit. 2K about to go crazy. The basketball season's about to end. 2K about to go crazy. Enjoy your time, but you know, just make sure you follow the things that's true to your soul. You know what I mean? Don't be outside trying to do things, doing it for the gram, showing off. You know what I mean? If it's in you and it's conditional to your work and your grinding by all means, but you feel me? Don't sell your soul for anything out here. It's hot. People are gonna find a lot of reasons to show off and enjoy the heat in different ways. But remain true to yourself. You know what I mean? Any weather, all seasons. It's always a summer somewhere. You feel me? Travel out. If summer in your neighborhood ain't that good, go see summer in Mexico or summer somewhere else. You feel me? Explore, enjoy yourself, and just take care of your groups. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. So listen, man, shout out any websites, merch, let us know we can find you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything.
We got the Hustle World Tour. We got everything, bro. We got lighters. We got the little, I got the little keychain. That's also my album. It's gonna lead you to my album. So definitely look out for the website. I got a link where you could pre-order some things like pillows, pens, music, merch, shirts. Definitely follow me on the gram, Kool Gmims, KOOLGMIMS. Don't forget the $. We outside, man. Everything is for sale. Everything's for sale. But definitely follow me. The Hustle World Tour is on all streaming platforms. It's about to be an updated version. It's just 2 weeks out. So I'm gonna tell you by this time, it's an updated version. I got skits coming out in between the records that I had originally wanted to do, but I had to clean it up a bit. So right now, if you're hearing the Hustle World Tour, you're hearing just a tagless, like a skitless version of it. So I'm glad that y'all enjoying it like this right now because the skits make it feel like a movie. And I hope to be able to organize my visuals to make it feel that way. I got a couple videos coming out soon. Checklist is coming out, and you know, it's a lot in store. It's a lot of stuff in store for the rollout of the Hustle World Tour, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. So, you know, follow your boy. Don't forget the $. Vamp Life project coming out, the Hustle World Tour, and then Kiss the Girls is coming too. So I ain't even done with y'all.
Yeah, man. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, go tap in with